Hey guys, this is Andrew with rockclass101.com, and in this week's ukulele lesson, we're going to be learning Song of Storms from the Zelda video game series. Now, if you're about the same age as me, I'm 35. I used to play this game as a kid, so this song brings back some sweet nostalgic memories, not only of playing the video game, but also of the music. I swear, literally every tune from that video game was an amazing composition. And this one probably has to be my favorite out of the bunch. Now, we've actually done 3 tunes from the Zelda video game series, so if you want to check out the other 2, I'm going to link them in the description box below. So let's take a step back. Let's talk about Song of Storms. Now, as you guys saw in the performance, AJ did an amazing job at arranging this tune as a duet for ukulele and piano. So your job as the ukulele player is to provide the melody, while his job as the piano player is to lay down the harmony or the chord work. So in this video lesson, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to play the entire melody, but if you want to get the tabs to print off and follow along with, that's going to be available at this link right here. Or you can go to the site rockclass101.com and do a search for Song of Storms. Now also on that page will be the really cool interactive on-screen tab viewer. This is a great feature where you can hit play, you can watch the tab scroll across in real time, you can highlight bars to loop sections, slow it down to any speed you wish, just a great asset in learning this tune that much easier. And last but not least on that page are the backing tracks. So we're going to have 100% speed and a 75% speed backing track. So once you learn the ukulele melody, you can play along to the piano backing track at home. So before we jump into learning this tune, there's a few things that we want to touch on really quick. The first one is the elephant in the room. This song is for low G ukulele, so make sure you grab the low G to follow along with. Now the second thing I want to touch on is our right hand approach for finger picking. And the truth is there's really no right or wrong that you can do with this tune. So feel free to use whatever is most fitting for your playing style. But to give you guys a couple starting points, you could use a 4-finger approach for this song. So that means that your thumb gets string 4, index gets string 3, middle gets string 2, ring gets string 1. Or you can simplify it to a 3-finger approach. So thumb gets string 4 and 3, index gets string 2, middle gets string 1. But again, there's no right or wrong, so you can use anything that fits your playing style. Now, the last thing I want to touch on is that this song is in 3/4. So that means that we have 3 beats per measure. So you would count that as 1, 2, 3, that's the first measure. Then 1, 2, 3, that's the next measure. 1, 2, 3, that's the following measure, and so forth. So 3 beats per measure. So keep that in mind as we go throughout this lesson. Now, let's go ahead and jump into the first 2 bars of this piece. And the beauty about this is that bar 1 is identical to bar 2. So playing it in time with the right rhythm sounds and looks like that. Now, you guys can already off the bat tell that I'm just playing out of a D minor bar chord shape. So the first thing we want to do is fret this bar chord. And to do so, we're going to take our index finger, we're going to lay flat on the 5th fret, strings 1, 2, and 3, and then add our ring finger to the 7th fret of string 4. So I want you to just give me a strum, make sure that every note is ringing crystal clear. Now, bar chords, the big key thing with bar chords is that you have to have proper left-hand form in order to get every single note to ring out. And proper left-hand form isn't only what's happening in front of the neck, it's also what's happening behind the neck. So you can see this U-shaped gap that I have right here. If you have no idea what I'm talking about with this gap, or if you've never thought about what's happening behind the neck, then I highly suggest that you hit pause on this video and check out this lesson. It's going to cover proper left-hand form when doing partial bar chords like this one, which means that we're covering less than 4 strings, but it's also going to talk about full bar chord shapes, like this D7, where we cover all 4 strings, but it also covers proper left-hand form for the cowboy chords, so those basic shapes that we learn on day 1 of playing ukulele. So I'd really recommend that you check out that lesson. I'll link it in the description box below, because you want to make sure that you have proper left-hand form before you try to play out of these, because if you don't, then you start to get some muffled and muted sounding notes. But assuming that you've got the bar chord intact and everything is ringing out, let's go ahead and learn what we're playing out of. So we're going to make this D minor shape, and we're going to play string 4, string 3, and then string 1. Rhythmically, we have 8th followed by half note. So we have 1 and 2, 3. And that is going to get repeated for bar 2. 1 and 2, 3. So let's see if we can try that 2 times in a row. So 1 and 2, 3, 1 and 2, 3. Okay, let's try you and I. So we have 1, 2, go. Nice. Now, as we jump into bar 3 and 4, things get a little bit more complex with what our left hand has to do. So 3 and 4 sounds like this. So let's break that down. So we're going to start off with just measure 3, and we're going to use our index finger to play the 7th fret of string 1. So I want you to hit that note, and here's the key thing. This first note is going to last for a dotted quarter, so that means a beat and a half. So you want to count it as 1 and 2. Now on the end of 2, you're going to put your middle finger down on the 8th fret, play that note, then lift up, go back to 7, and then back to 8. So these last few notes, they're going to be 8th notes. So you have 1 and 2 and 3 and. So take note of my index finger as well. My index finger is going to stay anchored on that 7th fret as I play the remaining 3 notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Okay? So keep that index finger anchored on 7 throughout this phrase. So if we speed it up a little bit, we have 1 and 2 and 3 and. Let's see if we can try that together. We have 1, 2, 3. Nice. Now going into bar 4, we're going to walk up a staircase. And this staircase, you know this shape. It's identical to the E minor, but we're all the way up on 9, 8, and 7th fret. So with that theme in mind, keeping the index finger planted on the 7th fret, we're going to start on that note, then go to the 8th fret on string 2, and then the 9th fret on string 3. So 1 and 2. Now that rhythm, you've seen that rhythm before. It's identical to the rhythm of bar 1 and bar 2. 1 and 2, 3. So eighths followed by a half note. So let's see if we can try 4 by itself. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and let's backtrack. Let's try 3 into 4. So we have 1, 2, 3. Nice. And if we backtrack again, we can try 1 through 4. So it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3. Nice. Now, going into our 5th and 6th bar, it's going to sound like this. Kind of sounds like Game of Thrones, right? Which, by the way, we've got a lesson on, so if you want to check it out, I'll link it right there, also in the description box below. But before we learn 5 and 6, we want to take a step back and think about where we ended with bar 4. Remember, bar 4 was that staircase shape, right? So at this point, what we can do is we can lift up our index and our middle finger. We don't need them anymore. Bar 5 is going to start with just the ring finger on that 9th fret of string 3. So I want you to play that note, and then take your index finger, place 7 on string 4. And then I want you to move that index finger down to 5 on string 3. Play that note, and then use the middle finger to place 7 on string 3. So that's bar 5 in and of itself. So we have... Okay, so let's break that down again. So if we think about where we came from, that was measure 4. We walked up that staircase. At this point, we're going to lift the index and the middle finger up. We don't need them right now. We're going to start with just the ring on the 9th fret of string 3. Then with the index, go to 7 on string 4. Then drop that index finger down to 5 on string 3. And then up to 7 with the middle on string 3. So hit pause. It's a little bit tricky, and I'll tell you why we're using our middle finger there in just a second. But if we try 5 by itself, it's going to be like this. 1, 2, 3, and let me count that out a little bit louder. 1, 2, 3, and. So let's try that together. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and. One more time. 1, 2, 3, and. Nice. Now, we're using our middle finger for 7 because the next note for bar 6 is going to be the 9th fret on that 3rd string. So we're going to use our pinky finger to grab it. And I think it's a little bit easier to do this stretch 5, 7, 9 if we use index, middle, pinky, but you can always experiment. You can go substitute the middle finger for the ring finger. If that's easier, go for it. For me, I personally think this is easier. But again, there's no right or wrong. I'm just giving you a suggestion that works really well for my playing style. So the thing with 5 and 6 is you want to practice this phrase together. So you really want to go like that. 1, 2, 3, and 1. And this note for bar 6, it's going to last the entire measure. So 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. So you want to count it out for 3 beats. Let's see if we can try 5 and 6 together. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, go. Nice. So at this point, we're going into 7 and 8. And I'm going to go ahead and play it for you, and you'll notice something. It's almost identical to 5 and 6. The only difference is instead of ending on 9 like we did for bar 6, we're going to end on 4 on string 3 for bar 8. So before we learn bars 7 and 8, we want to take a step back and we want to think about where we left off. So if I play 5 into 6, looks like that. Remember that 6 ended with our pinky finger on the 9th fret of string 3. So even though bar 7 is identical to bar 5, we're going to be using different fingers to play it because we have a different starting finger. Okay? So we're starting with our pinky finger on the 9th fret, so go ahead and play that note, so 9th fret on string 3. Then go to the 7th fret on string 4 with your ring finger, and then index finger plays 5 on string 3, and then ring plays 7 on string 3. So we start with the pinky, 9 on string 3, then ring, 7 on string 4, then 5 on string 3, index, and then ring finger plays 7 on string 3. So same rhythm, 1, 2, 3, and... Okay? And this time around, instead of going back to 9, we're going to go down to 4. On string 3. So just move that index finger down a half step. So again, 7 and 8, we start with our pinky, go to ring, index, ring, down a half, index. Rhythmically, we have 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. And you can see that this 8th bar is going to be held out for the entirety. So we have a dotted half, 1, 2, 3, 3 beats. So let's see if we can do this. Let's try 7 into 8. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, go. 2, done. Nice. And if we backtrack, let's try 5 into 6. Remember, start with the ring. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, done. Nice. And if I backtrack, I'm going to play 1 through 8 so we can hear everything put together. Sounds like this. So that's a little bit of a loosen the timing. If I try and keep it a little bit more steady, it sounds like this. So 1, 2, 3. Now at this point in the tune, what you're going to do is you're going to go back and you're literally going to repeat the melody, although it's going to be a little bit different at the end. So for bar 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13, you're going to play the exact same thing you did for bar 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, bar 6, remember, took us to the 9th fret on string 3, and that's where bar 14 takes us. But instead of playing this note and holding it out for the entirety of that measure, we're going to hit it twice. And you can see the rhythm right there. We're going to hit it on beat 1, and then again on beat 3. So you have a half followed by a quarter. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then when we go into bar 15, which is going to be the start of the piano break, you're going to play one note. So I want you to keep your pinky planted, and I want you to stretch with that ring finger to the 7th fret of string 4 and play that note and just hold it out, let it sustain for the entirety of the measure. So that's the only difference. We're adding one extra note at the end of measure 6 or measure 14 in the tab, and then we're ending right after that on the 7th fret for bar 15 or bar 7 if we're still thinking of it as a repeat of 1 through 8. So let's do this, guys. To add clarity, let's just go ahead and play 9 through 15. And remember, the only difference is at the very end. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. Now, this last note that we just hit for bar 15, that's going to be the start of the piano break. The piano break is 8 bars in length, so it's going to sound like this. So you have 8-bar interlude that the piano is going to play that harmony. And what you want to be doing is you want to count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, alternatively, you can count it out as the quarters. You can go 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 6, 2, 3, 7, 2, 3, 8, 2, 3. That's always a great way to count it out, especially because you're going sequentially, so you always know where you're at. If you go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, if you're not paying attention, sometimes you can get lost where you're at. So I would always count the numbers sequentially. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 6, 2, 3, 7, 2, 3, 8, 2, 3. That way you know exactly where you're at and how long the length is. So 8-bar piano break, count that out, and then jump back in, and you're going to play the melody again to a T. So you're going to play the exact same thing you did for bars 1 through 15. And that's the entirety of the tune, guys. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and put the clip of AJ doing the performance, and I'm going to add a 2-bar count in. So you're going to hear 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You're going to hear that as little count-in bars to give you some time to jump into it, right? So I'll put the performance at full speed, but you can always use the YouTube cog to slow it down to whatever speed is good for you. But give it a shot. Play through the entire melody, count out that piano break, that 8-bar piano break, and then jump back into the melody one more time. All right, guys, so we've learned the entire melody, and now I think is where the fun starts because at this point you've got it down, and now you get to play along with the backing track. So we just had a play along where you played along with AJ, but we want to remove AJ and we want to take center stage and be the only ukulele that is accompanying him on piano. So I wanted to give you a friendly reminder that if you wanted to get those backing tracks, we're going to have 100% speed and 75% speed that you can download and keep as an MP3. Those are going to be available at this link, or you can go to the site rockclass101.com, do a search for Song of Storms. Now also on that page was the tabs that you can print off, keep for your records, plus the really cool interactive on-screen tab viewer, so you can literally hit play, you can watch that tab scroll across in real time, you can highlight bars to loop sections, slow it down, all that fun jazz that makes practicing and learning so much easier. So everything is on that page, guys, and I just want to go ahead and say that I hope you enjoyed this lesson. It was a lot of fun for me to learn and teach. This is a tune that brings back a lot of childhood memories for me, and it's just a beautiful sounding melody. So guys, I hope you enjoyed learning this with me. If you have any questions, leave them in the YouTube comment box below, or you can always write questions on our forum at rockclass101.com. Always happy to help any way that I can. And until then, I'll see you in the next lesson. Take care.